She is not just a psychologist, she is also a shoe maker. She was trained as a medical doctor, but now she makes beats too. He studied law, and now he is a fashion designer. This one has gotten a new skill: makeover. He came into this camp a biologist. Now he is also a caterer. SAED, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development, helps you discover a new lease of life. What are you still waiting for? Get up and acquire a new skill now.
Hello viewers, a very warm good morning to you and welcome to yet another episode of our insightful and educative program, SAED at Work. SAED at Work is a program that brings you an insight on NYSC Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program, its achievements and success stories. My name is Sada Adam Yahaya, your regular anchor. In today's episode, we are bringing you an interview with one of the rare and best officers that NYSC has ever produced, an administrator par excellence whose expertise and versatility in youth policy and administration know no bound. Our guest has been a state coordinator in Anambra State, director, Southwest and Northwest area offices, and recently transferred to headquarters to head the SAED department. Our guest is Mr. Kehinde Aremu Cole. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
And you
Mr.
are
Sada.
welcome to our platform, SAED at Work. First of all, sir, can we meet you?
Thank you, Mr. Sada, and good morning, viewers. My name is Kehinde Aremu Cole. I am currently the Director of Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development at the headquarters. I'm from Kwara State, a very peaceful village called Koro in the Ekiti local government of Kwara State. And, I've done NYSC job all of my life, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, how did you receive the news of your appointment as the Director of Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program?
Okay, I'll say I received the news with a lot of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm because the posting came at a time I was just concluding a major assignment in the Northwest region, which includes mainstreaming the NYSC core members into the demand of the states in the Northwest, getting the Community Development Service segment of the NYSC back to the Northwest states after the disruptions caused by insurgency, and getting the state governments of that region to begin to deploy core members to strategic areas of need and skills gap or manpower gap in those regions, particularly the education sector. So we were just concluding that, as well as a major segment of my vision for that region, which is human capital development, getting our inspectors to appreciate their job, the enormous need for core members to participate in the youth service program and to monitor them for project accomplishment. We were just finishing that, and we are beginning to see results when this posting came, and I'm excited to take up this challenge.
Okay. So we pray that God will guide you.
Amen.
Sir, we know that skills acquisition, the history of skills acquisition and entrepreneurship development department in the NYSC will never be complete without your name, because you have been part of the success stories. So please, can you tell us the objectives of the program?
Okay, the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development project in NYSC actually came out of deep thinking, because we all agree that it became a necessity because of the dysfunctional curriculum we were operating in this country in the education sector. The education sector, both in tertiary education sector particularly, which produce our own intakes, the core members, were churning out graduates that could only fit into what we call the public service. They were just straitjacketed into public service mentality, and you find out that the young people who are very energetic and big segment of the Nigerian demography were not mainstreamed in any way into the public sector and entrepreneurship development within the country. So the conceptualization of an issue was to get this segment, this demography, these young people that are coming into NYSC to begin to appreciate, and at that time, for the very first time, entrepreneurship. So that was the thinking. And right now, of course, the thought, and that's what we are doing in NYSC, is to get all inputs, all intakes into the NYSC, the 350,000 of them, to appreciate the concept of entrepreneurship, business ownership and business management, and thereby be able to contribute to national development. Secondly, out of the 300,000, 400,000 that are coming into NYSC, if we're able to sensitize all, then we project that about 250,000 of this number should be able to go into business ownership post-NYSC through mobilizing support, advocacy, support, financial, and moral to get them into the business environment, and thereby be able to contribute to self-reliance and national development. So this is what, in short, this is just what the department is for, and that's what the vision of the Director General, and I need to mention this, the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed, is very knowledgeable about, and he has very great vision about skill acquisition for young people. He looks like an expert, and he came prepared. So we are just keying into his vision for the scheme and for SAED. And I tell you, the department is doing well in this regard.
Okay. Sir, we have heard from you the vision of that department. And as I have said earlier, you have been part of the success stories, even as part of the staff there. Now, as the director, how do you intend to implement the programs for maximum result?
Okay, one of the things, it's true, I was in that department as Deputy Director of Partnership Development. So I come with some experience on this job. I also need to mention, with all due respect and with thanks to the National Youth Service Corps, with deep appreciation to the scheme and the Chinese government, that I've had several training, attendance at training programs in Nigeria, sponsored by the International Labour Organization. I've also had some training engagements outside the country, particularly on Chinese Renaissance and development of small-scale enterprises in the People's Republic of China. So I come with some knowledge of what's happening inside and what can be obtained or in other climes. But I tell you that one of the things that I intend to drive, and I know the Director General, General Y.D. Ahmed, is knowledgeable about this. We are going to build capacity, not just of, and when I say capacity, I mean all staff of NYSC. We still meet some resistance. The SAED program still meets some resistance from some departments, some personnel, which shouldn't be. But if we all, if we are able to appreciate what SAED holds for Nigeria, then we expect that we will not have all these challenges. So we intend to do a lot of capacity building for all staff, not just about SAED, but about what I call financial literacy. If all staff are able to be financially literate, you will find out that apart from there will be very little industrial disturbance, but people will appreciate the angle from which SAED is taking some of its actions, and I believe that it will make a lot of difference. We also want to broaden partnership with like minds and organizations that drive entrepreneurship in Nigeria. So, and finally, we want to build data. Okay. We are in the era of evidence-based advocacy. So wherever you want to go to, you need data. I want to build data so that we can use that to advance our cause inside.
Thank you very much, sir. Hello, viewers. You may agree with me that our guest is ready for his job, and I am sure very soon we will start seeing at least his work in that department, because based on what he has said, he has a lot of things that will move the department and the skills acquisition in the NYSC to its peak. Now we are going for a break. Shortly, when we return, we will continue from where we stop. Thank you.
She is not just a psychologist, she is also a shoemaker. She was trained as a medical doctor, but now she makes beats too. He studied law, and now he is a fashion designer. This one has gotten a new skill: makeover. He came into this camp a biologist. Now he is also a caterer. SAED, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development, helps you discover a new lease of life. What are you still waiting for? Get up and acquire a new skill now.
Welcome back. Sir, as we are saying, now we are moving to the components of the SAED. We have two components, that is the in-camp and post-camp training. Looking at the enormity and magnitude of the skills training, as a director, do you think the 3 weeks in-camp training is adequate to prepare the core members for the training?
My answer to that is a straight no. 3 weeks is not adequate for the training of core members in skills. However, I think we've got to identify that the concept of SAED is actually to conscientize young people to the potentials that exist in the environment, conscientize core members to available opportunities or their capacity to build their capacity about how to source for and look out for opportunities and take them. And of course, give them access to, follow up on them and give them access to empowerment or funding. So that's the concept. So the idea is not to start and finish skills training or even entrepreneurship education at the camp, but just to expose them to what can happen. And I think that's very important. If you imagine young people that went to school in an utopian environment, everything is provided for them, and then they come to camp for the first time, they meet NYSC for the first time to know that, look, outside there is rough. Get yourself prepared, and we provide a platform to do that. So that's what the orientation course component is about. Getting them to become sensible about what's happening outside the confines of the university or educational system and get them prepared to embrace the opportunities outside. So definitely the 3 weeks is not adequate to get people prepared for that.
Okay. So let's look at the post-camp training. NYSC is visible in all the 774 local government. Some immediately after camp, they are being posted to remote areas where the opportunity for them to continue with the post-camp training is very much difficult. So how do you intend to see how you can bridge that gap?
Okay, I agree with you 100%. One of the challenges we've had is that the follow-up skill acquisition training, which is post-camp, are usually more concentrated in the capitals or the headquarters of local government. And by our own policy, a large percentage of our core members are in the rural areas. Agreed. So there's a gap there, which I agree is a gap. However, one of the things the current Director General is doing and building on seriously is the expanding this scope and having personnel, even at the local government area, to source for additional skills trainers in the remote areas, and also the building of skill centers, additional skill centers to take in as many core members and indigent locals as possible. It's also a strategy for integration in Nigeria, where you are able to train core members with local and indigent artisans, so that they learn together, they bond together, they learn about the culture of the people. So it's an amalgam of aims and objectives and results. So these are being strategically pursued to ensure that core members all over the country have access to these skills and have access to follow-up monitoring, evaluation, and empowerment in the course of the service here. That is being vigorously pursued.
Okay, sir. Sir, the program came into existence in 2012. Since then, up to this moment, can you tell us the impact of the SAED, NYSC SAED, on core members and the nation at large?
Okay, let me start by saying that one of the first things that people don't even talk about so much, but which is real, is that we have been able to build the conscience of all, and when I say all, I'm talking of millions of young people who came to NYSC and got exposed to data, information about the need for them to be engaged in entrepreneurship. Before they came to NYSC, before they joined the scheme as core members, most of them, as they are leaving university, they are thinking, I'm going to work in Shell, I'm going to work in NYSC, I'm going to work in Ministry of Information, I'm going to work. So that's how they came out of the universities and polytechnics. But meeting NYSC, we told them, yes, it's good to work in NNPC, it's good to work in NYSC, it's good to work in NTA. However, the number coming out from universities and the tertiary institutions cannot match the wastages from these governmental organizations. So you need to get yourself, and in any case, it is always better to go into business ownership. And I can tell you that a number of them got into entrepreneurship or know about entrepreneurship for the first time in meeting NYSC. That is building capacity for national development on its own. But beyond that, I can tell you that I don't have the current data, but I can tell you that between 2012 and 2022, when I can say I have data up to that moment, I can tell you that very close to 38,000 businesses that we can point to that were started by core members. And we can give you the addresses, we can give you what they are engaged in, we can tell you how they got the money to start the business or how they got the concept to start the businesses that they run. And that's all they do at this moment. And they are employers of labor. They have become self-sufficient, self-reliant, and they are even employing labor. That's a big impact, and it can only get better. I can also tell you that very close to 2,000, as at 2022, 2,000 about 2,000 of these businesses were directly financed by partners that NYSC brought on board, from beginning to the end. And it can only get better, and it is actually getting better. So I don't have the current statistics, but I can tell you that's enormous for a nation that is hungry for its youth to become mainstreamed into business management and to drive the resurgence of the Nigerian economy.
Okay. In the course of your discussion, you have talked about partnership. So that makes me to ask you, what can you say about the collaborations between government and other NGOs, how it enhances the operations of the SAED program?
Well, we depend on partners. We depend to a large extent on partners. The empowerment, building capacity for young people was hitherto not our core mandate. So, of course, there are even organizations whose core mandate is empowerment, but they don't have the crowd, and they don't have the kind of demography that we have, and they don't have the kind of order and monitoring system that we have. So they, even in accomplishing their own mandate, they have to rely on the NYSC to be able to. So that has facilitated our collaboration with many of these organizations. And of course, for an organization like NYSC that mobilizes close to 400,000 young people every year, we know that it is crowd that drives business. So for us, we have what I call the crowd. So most organizations will be willing to leverage on the crowd that we have, a sustainable crowd. It's not just, it doesn't come once, it comes annually, it's sustainable. So most organizations also want to collaborate with NYSC. So as for government, we are doing well with government. As for non-governmental organizations, fantastic. We have a lot of support. In fact, what we are doing now is to streamline this support, aggregate them into and getting real deliverables that we can say, this is what we want. So that's the process. That's what we are redoing now to ensure that. But as for partnership, we have, and we need more. Because in terms of capacity building, we have quite a number. Where we are lacking is in the area of empowerment, giving fund. But we are identifying what the challenges are, and we are going to, with the support of the DG, we are going to address those challenges of access to empowerment, funding.
So, sir, you will agree with me that year in, year out, the number of graduates that are being mobilized for the NYSC is ever increasing. So don't you think there is the need for more collaboration between NYSC and government at all levels and NGOs, maybe to support the expansion of the NYSC program? SAED?
Absolutely. The federal government have been doing its best. I want to appeal to the state governments to stop maybe mouthing youth empowerment. The NYSC can provide all of them a very veritable platform to reach out to their people and deliver employment generation, self-sufficiency, even to their own indigents, using the instrumentality of the NYSC. Just support the NYSC. We have the manpower, we have the spread, and we have the knowledge. As for local government, we are just optimistic that with the granting of the what we now call the local government autonomy, the headship of the local government councils will be in a better position to make funding and support available to the initiatives of the NYSC, so that their own indigents too, their own people will be part of the renaissance, will be part of the economic renaissance that NYSC is bringing to the national landscape. So we believe that both the state and the local government councils can do more. But I tell you, the federal government have been very supportive.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Viewers, you have been hearing from the Director SAED, Mr. Kehinde Aremuko, very educative and insightful regarding the NYSC operations on-site program. We are going for another break. When we return, we will continue. Thank you.
Hey there, prospective corps members, listen close. Nighttime's not your friend, it's a danger zone. Shadows lurking, roads unclear, don't let adventure turn to fear. Stay safe, stay bright, keep your journey light. Board vehicles only in designated parks and garages.
Break your journey by 6 p.m. and sleep over in any safe place like military or police barracks, and continue your journey the next day. You need to be alive first, before you can serve your nation.
For PCMs heading through Funtua to locations in the Northwest region, the road is open to traffic till 5 p.m. according to travel advisory from the Nigerian Army. PCMs are therefore enjoined to document with the Nigerian Army in Funtua before proceeding with the rest of the journey.
This message is from the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC.
Welcome back. The director, sir. In life, there is nothing without challenges. So far, what are the challenges the program is facing?
I'm sure you will expect me to start with inadequate fund, but let me not start with that. And I'm going to surprise you with one of the things I found over my years in this ecosystem. One of the challenges of SAED in NYSC is the lack of soft skills. I'm going to surprise you with this information. Soft skills by the corps members. You know, no matter how empowered you are, no matter how brilliant you are, you need soft skills to be able to navigate the business environment. Little things like customer care, how you treat your customers, how you market your product, how you pitch to potential investors, and all of these things matter. Your command of the English language, your body language will tell an investor whether you are ready for business or not. But you know, most of our young men don't even understand this. And when they are pitching, even when you are discussing business with them, I once had a corps member who told me, Daddy, all this talk you are talking about business, I just want to get rich. I said, so how do you get rich when you calm down and let me teach you how to get rich? So it's not a Nigerian thing, it's a youth thing. But I know that as many as have calmed down and listened to how to behave have been successful in their approach in this side business. But more importantly, that most people will want to identify. Yes, like I mentioned, the lack of facilities in the rural areas, and we need to do a balance. We want to push corps members to be relevant, and they are most relevant in the rural areas. But do we have enough skill centers and skill trainers? No. And so it's a challenge. We are trying to do a balancing of that challenge. Meeting these two halfway. We also have paucity of funds, and like I mentioned earlier, capacity of both the general environment as the NYSC, as well as the line drivers of the project, that's the SAED staff. I still seriously believe that there's a gap currently in the capacity. With all sense of modesty, the kind of training program we received when I was in my first missionary journey to SAED, I've not seen it again. And except you have capacity, you can't give what you don't have. So I think that is a major challenge also. And finally, I like to say that there is the need for what I call the standardization of our curriculum. I have seen the DG mentioned it in one of his discussions that I attended. There is a need for standardization of our curriculum, such that what is being taught in Sokoto is what is being taught in Akwa Ibom. We are not the direct trainers. We have SAED trainers. But you need to be able to be sure that the quality of the farmer where we are training in Sokoto is the same quality, and he can apply digital skills to market his products. So we are trying to standardize the curriculum, ensure that everyone that goes through the training program is ready for business and will be successful based on the knowledge contained in the curriculum. So those are some of the challenges, but like I said, we have the full support of the Director General, General YD Ahmed, to drive these reforms. And we believe that the output and the outcome will be of immense benefit to the program and to the nation.
Okay. So while talking about the challenges, you have spoken about soft skill that our core members lack. And generally in life, that soft skills is very much important. That is what we call public relations. So what are you, as the director now, what do you think you will do in order to at least inculcate such skill in core members for them to succeed?
Okay, thank you. You remember when we started this program, I mentioned that very clearly, that it's something I had found out even on a personal note, and I intend to address that squarely. It has led to many business failures, and it will always lead to business failure. It will always lead to skepticism, even from empowering agencies. So that's one thing we will address squarely. Yeah. I call it a repackaging of our curriculum, rather than just burst into them like that. Okay, entrepreneurship is good. It is good. However, we repackage the curriculum to include soft skill sets to ensure that they enter the business environment with the right mind, with the right attitude that is guaranteed, that will guarantee success in that environment.
Okay. Sir, in whatever in life you are doing and you are recording a lot of success, you require progression. SAED, when we look at SAED program, is yielding a very positive result. So what are the efforts being put in place by the scheme to enhance the program?
Okay, since my arrival, one of the things, and this needs to be emphasized, one of the things I have seen that the Director General, General YD Ahmed, is focused on, and I think it's very important, and it's needful that I mention this, is to formalize all these relationships with our critical stakeholders through the signing of MOUs. And I found that very, 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 very important. We must have clear-cut responsibilities. We must have clear-cut deliverables. We must have clear-cut timelines for every of these activities. So the stage and the magnitude of this SAED program of the NYSC can no longer be done haphazardly. So at my arrival already, I have seen that every partner is being brought into the MO units. Let's have a memorandum of understanding, which clearly states your responsibilities to NYSC, your responsibilities to the core members, your responsibilities to the society, and of course the responsibilities of NYSC to these partners. And I think that's a very, very important way to go. We will also drive curriculum adjustment, because there are, on a daily basis, there are emerging skills, there are emerging marketable skills, there are emerging entrepreneurial skills that need to be imbibed. So we can no longer remain stagnant. We need to be up to date with the best practice, global best practices in that industry. So we will intensify curriculum updating, curriculum development, and upscale our partners, so that we are sure that they are delivering service to the core members at the training ground and especially in entrepreneurship. There's one other challenge that I think we're still going to work on, which is at the point of empowerment, core members have this emotional attachment. Some of our partners, what they want is for the core members to drop their certificates of national service as the collateral.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, and I think it's not a big deal. It's just to guarantee that they have burnt the bridge. Yeah. When you drop your NYSC certificate, it only means that you have you are no longer thinking of paid employment. You are focused on your business that you have chosen. Yeah. However, one of the things I found out is that core members they will train. They are so enthusiastic about entering into the business environment. They want to get the money, but when you tell them that it's their certificate they are dropping, they have this is what I worked for a year, and then they don't have anything to show their parents and their peers that I've gone to school. I've gone to youth service. This is my certificate of national service. So at that point, you see a lot of them withdraw from these empowerment programs and empowerment packages. So, but as we advance as a nation and as a scheme, I'm thinking that there are other ways by which we can make the core members burn the bridge. Okay. There are other ways by which we can, the national identification number is a universal number that a loan beneficiary can be traced at any point in time. Those are things we are working on. And if these partners see it the way we are seeing it, I believe we are going to drop new methodologies of getting more empowerment without necessarily withdrawing the certificates of national service. Those are still in the works, and they are still being worked on.
Okay. So even though at the commencement of our interview, you have spoken about the vision of the NYSC side, and in the course of your discussion also, there are certain places where you chip in your vision. But now, as you assume as the director of the site, can you specifically tell us your vision?
I will only align my vision with the vision of the NYSC and the Director General. Incidentally, I've had the privilege of listening to the DG, even in a non-NYSC environment, talk about the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development program. And he seems to have a lot of knowledge. He obviously has a lot of passion for that package, that part of the NYSC. And that gets me really excited. And it only tells me that we will always meet. It will be easy for me to align with his vision. But I'm aware that he desires more core members transit from youth service to entrepreneurship, which is what every government and every nation desires, that we have less young people roaming the streets. And one of the ways by which you can do that is, like I said, he's ensuring that all partners with the NYSC have MOU with deliverables. He envisions more people, not just 150,000, but even much more, transiting in this direction. He envisions the creation of more NYSC-controlled SAED centers, where we have accommodation, where we train the core members, and with the training they receive, it becomes a certificate that makes them eligible for financial grants. He's driving even more global attention to the NYSC, such that we are not just receiving financing from local practitioners and local organizations, but even he recently had a meeting with the Nigerian component of the Silicon Valley. He recently had a meeting with the representatives of the World Bank, this country, And I've seen the documents that these people have brought to NYSC. He has determined that he's following through on all these propositions. And if that materializes, I tell you, more core members will seamlessly transmit and translate from core members to business owners. And that's massive. And that's good for our economy. That's in addition to what I said about getting all NYSC staff, all direct and indirect drivers of the SAED program to embrace financial literacy. When that is done, you will have less industrial disharmony even within the system. And the flow of activities will improve. And the support base for the SAED program will also improve.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Hello, viewers. Let me tell you one thing. One of the signs of a good administrator is talking authoritatively in his assigned duties. And that is exactly what we are getting from our guest today, because he's talking authoritatively about his assignment. And as I have said, I can say he's an authority in NYSC operations, and that is what we are exactly having this morning. Please, we are going for a break. When we return back, we will continue from where we stopped.
For all-round information and entertainment, the only station managed by graduate youths, brought to you from the Directorate Headquarters of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC TV and Radio, putting the nation first.
Welcome back. Sir, we have heard a lot about you regarding the vision of the NYSC SAED, which is in alignment with your own vision. And also we have spoken about the components of the NYSC SAED skills SAED program. So many things, I'm sure, which our listeners have been educated. Now let's go back to the issue of advices. What advice do you have for the core members to utilize the opportunities provided by the NYSC SAED program? Because when you look at it, even during the program, you will see them while the training is going, they are very lax. It was later in life they will be regretting. Why are they not, or they have not paid attention during that training? So what advice do you have for them?
Okay. The story I told you earlier about when I was state coordinator in Anambra, I was pouring out my mind about the need for them to embrace entrepreneurship. And I saw this young man pressing. I was, my heart bled. But at the end of the program, I called him aside and I said, young man, why are you did not even seem to. And he told me that this rigor of SAED is too much. I just want to finish this youth service, get money. I said, how do you intend to get money? He said, I'm telling you, he said, I would rather go for 419. And I didn't like it. I tried to counsel him. Anyway, the young man relocated, but I took his number and I kept communicating with him. But flashback to, fast track to 2 years later, because I kept up with him. 2 years later, I saw him with an EFCC placard in his hand with a photograph. And you know what that means in Nigeria. That's on the one side. On the other side, I can tell you 15 young people that have told me, I still mentor them till today, have told me they can never go near paid employment in their lives. And they will not even allow their children and their children to go near paid employment because of the kind of success they have
recorded.
And these are people that got into entrepreneurship or got in touch with entrepreneurship thinking for the first time through the NYSC. So as I have a lot of bad stories, I have a lot of good, wonderful stories So drawing from this, I direct advice to young people listening to me this morning and all core members. It may not look like it right now, but I tell you, the pathway to self-sufficiency, the pathway is still the NYSC side. It may not look like it now, but based on the stories I have seen and the people I have mentored on this job, except you are children of Dangote, Adeleke, the likes, and the Bois, okay? But anyone whose parents are like me here, they should go for the SAED program and calm their minds, ensure that they listen, follow the flow, follow the process, and nobody will ever regret this opportunity, because they only exist as NYSC. These opportunities only exist for participants in the NYSC. Now we have a situation with the Bank of Industry, for instance, that provide what I call 0% interest rate on grants and facilities advanced to them. You can't have it if you are not a core member.
Yeah.
No matter how beautiful your face is, you don't get it. Yeah. No matter how wonderful your business plan is, you don't get it. Yeah. You may get a loan or you may get a grant, but it will be with some percentage of interest. But as core members, it is 0%, zero interest rate. So I encourage all core members, and indeed all young people, to go the way of entrepreneurship. And it's the best way to go. It rewards.
Yeah. Even though now at the last sentence you have chipping Nigerian youth generally, because I have question for that, because what we have concentrated upon mainly are core members. Yeah. And core members is just a small segment on our youth. So sir, generally, you as a mentor, and I'm sure it's part of what you like doing at all times, to mentor young people towards greatness. What advice will you have for the Nigerian youth to embrace entrepreneurship generally, looking at the situation of the country for their own self and national development?
Absolutely. I belong to a community. I belong to a religious body. I belong to an estate. I live within an estate, and I belong to a number of social clubs. And in all of these spaces, I have never failed to preach what I call the gospel of entrepreneurship. Yeah. Even though somebody will tell me, you are preaching entrepreneurship, and I've heard that quite a number of times. They are talking of entrepreneurship, yet you are in government
job.
But I like to say clearly today that I love being in government or in this space because of access. I say it to people, because of the access I have to young people on an annual basis, because of the access I have to talk to them on entrepreneurship. I don't waste time. Any opportunity I see to talk to young people in my community is known in my community. It's even becoming known in my state, that anywhere this man stands, he's talking about how to get young people to entrepreneurship. Because one thing I always tell people is that it is not good. Let me use a kind word. It is not good at all to finish youth service and you return home, and as a lady, you are asking your daddy to give you money for sanitary pads. It is a sad thing that as a young man, you finish youth service, you return home, and you are asking, you need to sub, to buy data. Yeah. You are asking daddy to please give you money for data. You will get frustrated, you will be depressed, you will get annoyed with yourself, you get annoyed with your parents, you get annoyed with the system. But to avoid all of this, start small. And like I always give example, we had a study tour when we had this opportunity to go to China. The Chinese environment, the Chinese industry is powered by SMEs. In Nigeria, we want to start big. It doesn't work that way. Start small, and that's what I tell young people. Start small. If it is farm, start a small fish farm. Start a small poultry, 100 beds, 50 beds. start small, grow your enterprise. You have experience, you will have partnership, you have linkages when you start small, and then grow your business. It's the only way to go. If you look at how many people get absorbed into jobs in this country now, everybody is going paperless. Even private companies are automating. So where will you get the job? So the only way you can avoid frustration is to go into entrepreneurship and business ownership. So I appeal to all young people to look in that direction and take away the possibility of depression and frustration in their lives.
So part of our activities in NYSC SAED at Work is we go around and fish out those core members that are now entrepreneurs and have a niche for themselves after the service here. And when we call them, part of the challenges they are telling us, especially those that their line of business requires NAFDAC registration and other things, we are having difficulties in such kind of registration and what have you. And they always appeal to us if there is a way NYSC can be assisting them even after the service year, maybe for them to be having such kind of registration and what have you. So now, as the director and someone with a good vision, and you have seen it all, what do you think is the possibilities for those young ex-core entrepreneurs at least to be getting such support from NYSC?
There is an existing support system for the entrepreneurship development value chain. But like you said, I'll explain the value chain and explain where we are coming in, what the concept we have. From business conceptualization to establishment to growth, NYSC supports the core members. You know, the entrepreneurship development program, the motivation, then we have an agreement with the Corporate Affairs Commission where core members will be able to set up their businesses, register their businesses at a very cheap price, cheap cost. In fact, not comparable at all to what obtains to non-core members. And you know, in Nigeria, the best thing you can do to your business is to formalize it, register it, so that it has a name, it has an address, it has a board, and with that, you have more access, you are more believable, you have more access to facilities and governmental support. So that has already been done. In area of growth, we have support systems from SMIDA, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria. We have support systems from specialized banks, Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture. We are developing, since my arrival, we are developing a relationship with the Development Bank of Nigeria. It's a new bank set up by the federal government, and they are so interested. I'm very excited to say it here that what I have seen of their desire to work with Nigerian youths under the instrumentality of NYSC is very gladdening to the heart. So we have the Development Bank of Nigeria. And patronage by governmental organizations. So the entire value chain is designed in such a way that there is support, there is support space to get them entrenched, to get them strong before you leave them to fight within this place. As for NAFDAC, well, I will be careful so that we don't begin to lower the system. Lower the standards.
Yeah, standard, yeah.
We must have standardization. But even at the level of the orientation camps, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, as well as the NAFDAC, they come to the core members and tell them, when you need regulations, just let us know so that we can guide you. Other practitioners in any of the industry do not have this privilege of personal visits by these regulatory bodies. But they have made themselves available to corps members so that they can guide them on how to get standard. Because you cannot begin to have another standard for corps members, another standard for Nigerians. No. But whatever corps members are producing, those that are into production, the NAFDAC and the Standard Organization of Nigeria have made themselves available to guide the corps members to be able to achieve high standards. And that's a plus.
Okay. Hello, viewers. We are drawing the curtain for this interview today, and you will believe with me that we have a very educative and insightful discussion with our guest today. That is why even in my introduction, I said we have someone that has the pedigree and someone who is an authority, not only in SAED, but in NYSC operations generally. And today, he has exonerated us for what we have said. Because not only has spoken very well about his duties, he has also mentored our youth towards greatness. Sir, we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll have any time now when you settle down, we will call you back so that what you have told us now to see how far you have gone about that. And this program is yours. Just that it is under media, but it is your program.
Thank you.
So from time to time, don't mind us, we will be bugging you.
Anytime.
We really appreciate, and we pray that God will guide you and give you more wisdom to achieve your ambition.
Thank you.
Dear listeners, if you are a SAIBIN or an ESCO member and want to share your SAED program experience, please send in your SMS or WhatsApp through this number 080-3609-7771. Let me repeat myself, 080-3609-7771. With this, we are drawing the curtain of this week's edition of the program SAED at Work, coming to you from NYSC Radio and Television 88.3 FM Abuja. Join us same day and time for another interesting episode. I remain yours, Sada Adam Yahya. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.
She is not just a psychologist, she is also a shoe maker. She was trained as a medical doctor, but now she makes beats too. He studied law, and now he is a fashion designer. This one has gotten a new skill, makeover. He came into this camp a biologist. Now he is also a caterer. SAED, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development, helps you discover a new lease of life. What are you still waiting for? Get up and acquire a new skill now.